meditative practice. Like I do Sam Harris's Waking Up app and all that stuff, and I've been doing meditation for years. I don't have much of like a real ego left in there, man. Like, I have been thinking about potentially going to that next level of surgery and getting my 2 bottom ribs broken in. Logic.
Okay, so our favorite bodybuilding doctor and hammer curl hater Mike Israetel has come out with a new video where he gives his take on the Jeff Nippard Hussein drama. In it, he will present a bunch of stupid arguments to defend Hussein's Natty status using facts and logic.
And one of the main things that people cited in their comments was that the fat-free mass index, roughly how much lean body mass you have divided by your height or per your unit height, was very high for some of these folks.
It's false. It never happened.
No, Mike. One of the main things people cited was not that FFMI of the fake natties was too high. No one was saying that. Go look at any of the top comments on Jeff Nippard's video and you will see that it was no one saying that. No one at all. The issue is with the speed of Hussein's transformation and the way that he was training for a large part of it, coupled with the fact that he's constantly lying about everything.
What's my take? I've been around a while. I've been around tons of drug people. I've been around drug-free people with exceptional genetics and everything in between. My bet, if I had money, I wouldn't bet a lot. Hey, the Judaism won't let me bet any money. What are you guys, crazy? My bets are the stock market. Hey. I think Hussein is likely drug-free. Yes, I do. Yes, I actually think that. By the way, if Hussein wasn't drug-free, he's documented doing a drug-tested show like months ago and crediting Mr. Greg Doucette with all of the success of coaching.
Except for the fact that he was never tested at the natural drug-tested bodybuilding show. Hussein was lying by omission by using it as a defense of him being natural, while failing to mention that he was never actually tested at the show, and neither was anyone else there.
And so, here's the really interesting part that helps me make my point about Hussein really being drug-free. And this is very probabilistic. I think there's an over 50% chance, likely, that Hussein is drug-free, but I'm not saying it's exceedingly likely or very likely or almost certain. It's not 97 to 100%. It's like in that 60 to 70% range, in my view. What's a good evidence point to support that? Well, sure, shit's not Hussein's look, because that boy looked like he took every goddamn drug and then took some more. Hussein's fat-free mass index is just under 23. Scott, isn't that funny that people are like just throwing a huge fit about him being on drugs and he doesn't even make the Natty cutoff?
Yeah, dude, there's ways around it, bro.
Yeah, man, just muscle shape, bro. Because, you know, muscle shape somehow was changed by steroids. It's not, you guys. How come my muscle shape sucks? I've been on steroids half my life at this point. So that part's not even controversial. Hussein's not even jacked enough to make the Natty, not Natty cutoff.
Okay, but the suspicious part here isn't that he is at the 23 FFMI, but rather the speed of his transformation. Are you telling me that someone could achieve an FFMI of 23 in only 18 months, 6 of those being spent in a garage with a broomstick and a ladder? You must be an idiot if you think that is possible. I mean, just listen to Hussein in this clip.
Trying to justify it.
He did it in 2 years. It took me 10. Keep the focus on him.
Three.
Nothing suspicious going on here at all.
Let's learn a few things. The big difference here, guys, and this is where I want to make a big intellectual point, is the difference between likelihood and certainty. There is a ocean between those things. Here's what I mean. The big mistake that so many people make in these natty or not debates, especially in the comments, is in assuming that likely not natural is the same thing as definitely not natural. And it's absolutely not. If someone is lean and has a fat-free mass index of 25 or over, it's more likely they are on gear than not, knowing nothing else about them. Fact. More likely. Not a ton more likely, but like 60-40 more likely. But people stumble when they say that someone of 25 plus FFMI is definitely not natty, because likely means functionally 51% or above. Anywhere, let's be charitable and say 60% is likely. Certainly is 100%. And just because we're being charitable and statistically kind of nuanced, we'll say 99% plus. You guys, the distance between 60 and 90 is really big.
Mike is just playing word games here. When people claim that someone is definitely not natty, they're not claiming that they know with 100% certainty that the person is not natural, because that would be impossible to know unless you are in fact that person. No one is saying that Hussein is with 100% certainty not natural. What people mean by claiming that he is definitely not natty is that he is most likely not natural, based on the evidence available to us. And Mike knows that this is in reality what is being claimed, but he has to resort to these silly word games to try and defend Hussein for some reason. It does not take a PhD to figure out that people aren't saying that they are 100% certain that someone is on steroids or not, but rather that what they actually mean is that it's a way higher likelihood of them not being natural than them being natural, based on the available evidence at hand.
Logic. Amazing genetics are real. Scott, you've been around people with really amazing muscle genetics, yeah?
Of course.
3 years to get to Hussein's size. Is that impossible to you or just like pretty impressive?
Man, it's really on the edge. It's hard to imagine.
It's hard to imagine. But with really good genetics, people, hard to imagine stares you in the face. Logic.
Scott, the video guy, says that it is really on the edge with Hussein with 3 years of lifting. Now, imagine if these 3 years were in fact actually, as is the case, 18 months of lifting, and the first 6 months of this were spent training in the garage with a broomstick and a ladder, so definitely not dialed in optimal training. Then it would for sure not be possible. If his physique in 3 years is just really on the edge, even with amazing genetics, then why on earth would you think it's possible in only 18 months?
Yeah. And then, I mean, you see someone like, Paul Canoe at 16 who, like, maybe never lifted and was, like, jacked already. And then you're like, 3 years, this guy could be insane.
Paul Canoe, current IFBB physique pro, winning pro, he's the man. Friend of the channel. We've had videos of him before. Paul Canoe had a full six-pack when he was 10 years old. Paul Canoe didn't take drugs for most of his career and was so jacked you would think for 100% certainty he is on drugs, and he wasn't. Because Paul Canoe is West African and has godlike genetics and is just better.
Okay, but this point actually works against what Mike is saying here. They bring up the example of people with amazing genetics who had a six-pack and looked like they had been lifting for years, even before they started lifting. And yes, this is what people with amazing genetics looks like before they get into lifting. Because their genetics are so amazing, even if they don't lift, they will still look jacked. Hussein did not look like this. He looked like a twig. He looked like your average skinny kid with noodle arms. If Hussein really had amazing genetics, as Mike claims he does, then one would have expected him to look pretty jacked even before he started lifting, like all these other people with amazing genetics did. Yet he did not look like that. So much for logic.
Logic.
All in all, Mike has misinterpreted the claims being made about Hussein. He has presented a bunch of stupid arguments, and all for what? Presumably the reason for defending Hussein is because he previously made a video with him and he would like to make even more videos with him, since it would be good for the views. Deep down, I think Mike knows that Hussein is for sure not natural, but defending him will create more controversy and get people riled up in the comments, generating more money and views.